So here you can see that we have our application. I can open that, and here we have section for most popular discover movies, and I can search any movie as well. For example, I can type the name of that movie, click search here, and it will automatically search that movie for me, and I can simply play that, right? So one thing is that, another is that I can go back, or I can go to these most popular ones, and I can click off on any of these. I can click on it and hit the play button right here. So if I hit play, you can see that it started loading and it will download the movie. So once the downloading is done, then it will automatically start playing that movie as well. And here you can see that after downloading, the movie will start playing automatically. So I'll go back to stop that, and besides playing a description, we can see as well, and we can see the rating of the movie.
Hey, what's up everyone, I'm Ismakan and welcome to my YouTube channel. So in this video, we'll be making a complete movie streaming application using Flutter as you saw in the demo as well. So the application will have the state management of GetX. We will be using the clean architecture in Flutter. We will also use the code generation and the dependency injection in Flutter. So basically this project is like a mid-intermediate level project and is perfect for your portfolio, and it has a lot of learnings, I believe. So make sure to stick till the end. So basically the idea behind the application, as you saw in the demo as well, that the app can search for any movies as well as it has some movies on site the homepage as well. We can click on that, view some details, and then play movies directly from the app, right? So we'll be talking about the technical details, how we are playing, how the movies are fetching in the further part of the videos. But before that, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do that. It will really help the channel out. And if you like this video, make sure to hit the like button as well. So with that all being said, I'm Ismakan. Let's begin this video. So first things first, what we will do is that let's open up the design of the entire application. So as you can see, this is the application that we will be making in this video, right? And the app UI is not made by me, but is made by Afsar. So shout out to him, as I have not made the design of this application and he has made that. So design basically has, as you can see, mobile as well as for the website as well. But inside this particular video, I have only made the design for the mobile one. If you want me to make design for the web as well, then make sure to comment and I'll definitely make a part 2 where we can talk more about the website, as well as we can add some more features as well in the video player. So yeah, this is the entire application. We have the styles as well, we have the fonts, we have the palette, we have the spacing, icons, everything we have that this person has used to make the design, right? Perfect. So we'll be using that, and this is the home page of the application, as you can see in the demo as well we have made. Now let's talk about the building process for a moment. So this building process is nothing but, first we'll talk about the planning, what we'll be doing. Like right now we are doing is the planning phase. After that we'll be talking about the project structure, how does the project structure look like. After that we will talk about the Flutter application. We are using the clean architecture. That means that it will have domain layer, data layer, presentation layer for each of the features that we have in the app. So we'll talk about all those stuff further, and after that at the end we'll talk about the Python backend API. So first things first, let's talk about the project structure. I'll head over to my browser. Alright, and let's go there to the tree. So here you can see that this is the complete project structure of the application. You can see that this is the project name, screens, movie stream. This is the project name. After that, we have Android and iOS basic folders. Once that is done, we have our assets. So basically, assets will include images, icons, fonts, right? So these are the assets that we will be including from our Figma design. Great. After that, we have lib. So inside the lib, we have config, core, features, and main.dat. That's it. So inside the config, we have our route management and theme. So theme is like all of the theme of the application, text theme and routes for the route navigation. So that will come under config. Makes sense. Then we have core. So core is like a shared library in the entire Flutter project that we will be having. It will include constants. It will include the data states, and this data state represents the state of the data that we'll get from the API. Either it is success or failed. So we'll make an abstract class here. After that, we will be having a use case abstract class. So inside the clean architecture, all of the API endpoints that we have, we will be having separate use cases for each of them. So that use cases that we have, that will be implementing based on the abstract class that we have here, use case that we'll talk about. And this widgets folder basically represents the widgets that we will be using in the entire application. So we will talk about that as well. After that, we have our features, that is the main folder that I'll come to in just a moment. Then we have main.dat and dependencies. So here we have main.dat and dependencies as well. Right, so dependencies.dat. So basically this dependencies represents the GetX dependency that we will add so that we can initialize all of our instances, packages, repositories, services, everything will initialize inside this dependencies. Inside the main.dat, what we will do is that we will be calling the initialize dependencies method, as well as we will run our application, as you guys know. Then we have the pubspec YAML file. So basically this pubspec YAML file has all the packages, has the assets, has the font. So we'll talk about that first. What are the packages that we have? Before going further, let's talk about our features. So features are like that every feature we have to include separately in the clean architecture. So that is really helpful, because if you have a team, so that multiple team members can work on different features without any conflict in the codes between them, right? So here inside the app, we have just two features, that is homepage and detail. So inside the home, as you can see, each feature inside the clean architecture has data, domain and presentation. So data includes data sources, models and repository implementation. And the domain has entities, repository and use cases, right? After that, presentation includes the pages, controllers. Controllers here represents the state management that we have in the application. Pages are all of the pages. So basically inside the home feature, we will be having home page.dart. And this widgets folder will specifically represent all of the widgets for that particular feature or for that particular page in our case. All right, then this data, so every data will have data source. Data source is nothing but the API calling part. So here we will be using the DO package and retrofit package to generate the code. So we will be generating the code from the DO so that we don't have to handle the exceptions and serialization, deserialization. All of that will be handled for us by the retrofit package. If you need a separate video on this package, then let me know in the comments and I'll definitely make one. Alright, after that we have models. So inside the clean architecture, we have model and we have entity. So a lot of people have confusion like why we need model and entity separate. So in the clean architecture, we always separate the entity, that is the business logic, and that is just the model, that is the base class that we have. And from that base class, the entity, we will be implementing our movie model. So this movie model will have the factory methods like from JSON, it can be from XML, it can be from entity. So all of that methods we will have here. So basically in future, if our data source API changes as well, we don't have to change our business logic, that is our entity. We just need to change our model. All right. Then we have a repository. So inside the domain, we have our home repository, and inside our data, we have our home repository implementation. Right. So here we will be just making the method names as an abstract class, but inside the implementation class, we will be connecting the methods with our data source API that we have. Perfect. So basically the flow is that we have our front end. After that we have controllers. After controllers, our data is transferred to use case. From use case repository, and repository to our home API service or API data source that we have. So that is the complete flow, and it is not one way, it is two way. So the data will return back as well. Awesome. So this is the data, the domain, and presentation. So these use cases that we have for every end point in the application, we will have presentation inside controller. So we will have all different methods for the use case we will be calling. Right. So this is the page. So let's go to our application, see the source code and how is it everything laid out. So let me open up Android Studio now. Great. So let me put myself right here. So as you can see that this is the project. Here we have assets, we have fonts, icons, images. We all know that. After that, lib. Let's talk about PubSpec YAML first. So here, let's talk about the packages. First, we have a responsive sizer. So that I added for the logic for website and application. So based on the size we have, we can automatically change the layout of the app. So what it is used for that, and also it is used for laying down widgets much more perfectly using the extensions of width and height that we have here. Perfect. Then we have equatable for equating classes and objects based on their properties. Then we have the do package used for the API calling, retrofit package that is used with the do for the code generation so that we don't have to write the code ourselves. After that, we have Intel package that has been used for the date formatting. And after that, we have our state management GetX. Getit, after that, Getit is used for the dependency injection. And the video player that we have is the VLC player, but we can use any other player as well. Alright. After that, we have dev dependencies. So here we have to include the build runner and retrofit generator package. Alright. Then we have assigned our assets, fonts, all of that stuff and nothing else. Perfect. Let's go inside lib and main.dat, and here you can see that we are just initializing our dependencies, nothing else. We are just calling the home page. So let's go to our dependencies.dat. Here you can see that we are using the getit to initialize our dependencies and injecting them, basically dependency injection. So what we are doing is that we have an SL object and we are initializing our DO, our API for home page, detail page, our repository implementation, our use cases that we have: get popular movies, get search movies, get movie details, download movies. So all of that API endpoints has a use case of its own. So we are initializing those. And after that, we have controller for our home page and detail page. So this all we have to initialize, right? Perfect. Then we have our config. Here you can see that we have assets. So basically that I am using to make the asset management much more easier. So all of the assets that I'm using in the application, you can see here very easily. So I can use like assets dot images dot, and then I can just use search. So that way I can easily use. So let me show you as well. So let's go to the images, and here you can see that image.asset, and for the logo I am passing as assets.images.logo, not inside a string, right? So this way it is much more easier, and we know that inside the images we have sign in overlay logo, and just we can change that. So that is much helpful. After that, inside the core you can see we have constants, and the constants you can see color palette we have and strings we have. So string is basically one we have for the API, and color palette I added from our design file that we have used. So I have added from there, as you can see as well. Perfect. Then we have the resource. This is the abstract data state that will be having the data success and data failed, and we are just extending the data state abstract class, and we are initializing. So basically it will have the T data or the DO exception, right? So either we are passing a generic data type here, or it can be data exception with the error, with the DO exception, the DO package that we have. Perfect. Then we have a use case abstract class, so we're using that and implementing all of our use cases that we have. After that, the common widgets include the horizontal movie section. So basically this horizontal movie section is nothing but, here you can see that the movies that we have, it is a vertical and horizontal. So this horizontal movie section represent this entire part: see all button, title, and this list view. So you can see that we have a row, section name, text button, see all, with the icon as arrow right and the color as red. Then we have some spacing, as you can see here, but we have the equal amount of spacing here as well, like in the app. After that, we have the sized box, and we can scroll it horizontally. All right. So this is one widget. Then horizontal movie tile. So this is just one movie tile, right? First one is the entire section. Second is just the tile. Then we have a multi-device scaffold. So that I am using with the help of a responsive sizer package. And based on the layout size, the screen type that we have, we will be showing the scaffold. So inside the home page, let me close all of the screens. Inside the home page, you can see that we are using multi-device scaffold. If it is a mobile, we will be showing the mobile scaffold. If it is a desktop or web, we will be showing desktop scaffold, right? And we can add multiple screen types as well, like tablet as well we can use, but I have not added that. Here you can see that for the desktop scaffold, right now it is empty. If you want, I can make a part 2 and we can make for the desktop web as well. But right now I haven't done that. I have just the mobile one, so you can see that mobile is done, and this is the UI. We'll talk about that just in a moment. Okay. So this is the multi-device scaffold that we have made. After that, we have our vertical movie tile. So basically here, this is the vertical movie tile. Let me show you that. This is the vertical movie tile here. This is vertically, so I named it as vertical movie tile. All right, this is also good. Then we have our features. You can see inside the home and detail, it has data, domain, and presentation. And inside the data, we have data sources, models, repository. Inside the domain, we have entity, repository, use cases, and inside presentation, we have controller, pages, and widgets. Right. So let's talk about the home first. So inside the home data sources, we have our home API service.dart, and here we have the retrofit package and the DO package. So we have all of our APIs here, like get, and post. We are posting this body, map string dynamic, right? And basically you can see that this popular movies, discover movies, and search movies, these are automatically. So basically we just need to write an abstract class, and the implementation will be written by the retrofit package, and we don't have to do anything in that. How? So basically inside the terminal, you need to write flutter pub run build runner build, and that will automatically build the implementation, and it will give back this home API service implementation that is generating using a retrofit generator. We don't have to do anything in that. After that, we have the models. So basically, you know that inside the clean architecture, we have entity and we have model. So entity is the business logic of the application, and the main part is that we don't have to change the entity ever once we made that. And the data sources, even if it is changed, for example, if the data source is changed from JSON to XML, we will not be changing anything in our movie entity, but we will change in our movie model. We will have the from JSON, from entity, from XML, all those factory methods inside our movie model, right? So the data will have our movie model, as you can see here, which will be extending our movie entity, right? And here you can see that we have from JSON, from entity, all these factory methods as well. And these ID, title, description, date, all of that we are capturing from our Python backend. These keys are used. We'll talk about that as well. After that, we have a repository. So this is the repository implementation. So repository implementation basically means that we will be calling our backend API that is generated by a retrofit package. We will just be calling that, and we will be returning the state or a response. In our case, we have to return the data state that we have, and for each it can be different. Like for the get discover movies, we are returning a type of data state of type list movie model, right? If we have a get search movie, we will be returning data state list of movie entity, and otherwise here also list movie model only we are returning, right? So that is it. Here we just need to call our home API service and call the method get the data, either it is success or failed, and we have to return that. This implementation is of the abstract class inside the domain, as you can see here. Makes sense. So basically you can see that this is the data layer that we have inside the domain. We have talked about the entity and the repository. Let's talk about the use case now. So use case. So every repository method, every API endpoint will have its own use case, right? So here you can see that the use case we have is implementing from the abstract use case class that we talked about in the beginning, right? So here the generic type of the use case, that the type that we were passing is basically as the data state, and we are using the call. So inside controller home underscore controller, you can see that we have all these use cases and we are calling them. So if I call the get popular movies method, our use case is called. So basically this calling on the object is called based on this method, right? So controller basically acts as a bridge between the UI and our backend or repository or our API source, right? So controller basically have that, and we are using GetX, but you can use block as well and that will work just fine. Perfect. So here we have use cases, and for each use case we have the movie list as well: popular movies, discover movies, search movies, and then we have some variables to support that. After that we have methods like get popular movies, get discovery movies, toggle search. So basically on clicking search button here, it will toggle text field, and that we have saw that in the demo as well. On search changed, we have to just change the value, so it is called in the on changed method of the text field that we have. And on search click, basically we'll call the use case for the get search movies and we'll pass the search value. Make sense? So we are checking if the data success. So if the data state is success, that means that we have got the data and we'll just populate it back, and so that we can update our UI accordingly. Alright, so let's talk about pages now. So inside the pages, we have our home page. So let's go to the mobile scaffold, and here you can see inside the widgets. So these widgets are specifically for the home page, like the home button. So this home button represents this button sign in, as well as this subscribe button that we have. So this button represents that colors.red, you can see. The home desktop scaffold is empty. The mobile scaffold, we'll talk about that. The search section is basically when we are searching. You can see in the demo as well that we will be searching and search results that we have. So that widget is coming under the home search section. After that we have a home vertical movie section. So basically this vertically section, this entire portion that we have, is the widget for the home vertical movie section, as you can see here as well. So basically we have a row, we have the title, we have the see all, we have some spacing after that, and the list view which is horizontally scrolling, so that we can scroll it. Perfect. Let's talk about the mobile scaffold now. So controller we are initializing using the dependency injection of the SL object that we have, and we are calling these two methods in the init state to fetch some initial data for the home page, right? Then we have the app bar. So controller is search. If it is true, we are calling our text field app bar, and if it is false, then we are simply showing our logo of the application with the search button and sign in button as well. On clicking the search, we are calling controller.toggle search here, so that we can toggle between text field and search automatically. Then inside the body we have a column, we have some spacing, we have a divider, and then we have the column. So basically if the search movies is empty, that means that we have to show this welcome to PD screen. So this all data we have to show, this text field we have to show. This is the text field, enter your email address and subscribe button here, as you can see, this one. So after that we have a column that is also inside a stack, and I'm doing top minus 50 because this image of the shadow I have to make it a little bit more on top. So that is why I included it in the stack with the top minus 50, so that the entire column will be moved a little bit on top. Alright, so this column will include the home vertical movie section and the horizontal movie section. Alright, so this section basically represents the most popular and the discover movies. Right, so here based on the controller, we have the popular movies and the discover movies here, and we are wrapping all that with the OBX builder so that the UI will automatically update once the controller value is updated. Right, so that is the code that we have inside our home page, nothing else is there. Right, same we had doing for the detail as well. So you can see inside the data source we have the API, so we are calling our details and download API. So on clicking any movie, we are calling the detail in the init state, as you can see in the pages presentation as well. Let's go in the mobile. You can see in the init state we are calling the get movie details, and once we have the movie details, then we are calling the download and stream method on clicking the play button on side the movie. So we'll download the movie, and once the movie is downloaded, then we can simply stream and play that using our VLC player. So if the player is not null, then we have our player. Otherwise, we have our thumbnail with the play button. Or if the download is initiated, if the download is started, then we'll show a loader saying that it is downloading right now. Perfect. So yeah, then we have our UI further. So basically, let's show in the Figma. You can see that inside the details, we have something like that. So we have a title, we have a year. So here you can see that we have a title, we have a year, then we have the rating, and after that we have this watch list and share and download. So we have that, and description. So after that description I have added as well. I have not added this related videos, but yeah, we can add that like we have added inside our home page. Same we have to do here also. Right, so basically let's go to controller now, and here you can see that we have get movie details. So we have two use cases. So we'll fetch the movie details, and once we have that, we'll just initialize our movie detail entity object, and if the value is not null, we can simply download based on the link inside the movie detail entity, and from that link, once it is downloaded, if it is success and error is not there, then we can simply initialize our player and we can play that. So here we are simply initializing our VLC player, and that will automatically play the movie for us. Right. Similarly, use cases, same we have here also. Repository we have, and entity we have for the movie detail entity. Inside the data we have data sources, and here also the code is generated automatically using the retrofit package. We have our movie entity model and movie detail model basically, and repository implementation we are doing to connect the API with the use case or controller. Perfect. So this is it inside the Flutter side that I wanted to explain in this video. Now further, let's talk about our Python backend. So here you can see that this is the backend of the app and here what we are doing is that we are using the YTS MX API to get the torrent file for any movie, and for that we are using the EasyFlix package in Python, which will make this process much more easier. Otherwise we have to call the API manually using the request package, right? So this EasyFlix package we are using to fetch the torrent API. So here once we have the torrent file, we are using the torrent TP and the torrent downloader to download the torrent file, and once it is downloading we are fetching the movies, all of the movie file mp4 file that we have, and then we will be returning back from the API, and then we can stream it using the stream. So that is the gist of the entire process what we'll be doing. Awesome. Then inside the .env we have to initialize our tmdb API and the ngrok token. So we have to initialize that, and once that is done we have to then call our the public URL. So public URL we have, so ngrok will be initialized, and after that the base directory means that the torrent content will be downloaded in this particular folder, that is download contents. Awesome. Then we have some models, like for searching we'll be passing the payload of q, as you can see in the app as well. When we are searching, you can see get search movie, you can see that we are passing query here as q. If it is a detail model that we have to fetch the details, we are passing id. So here you can see that we are passing the id in the movie details id, we are passing for the tmdb id, and this is the movie model. So basically if you go to our movie model or movie entity, you will be able to see this exact thing: id, title, description, date, popularity, everything is exactly same, with the data type as well and the from JSON method. So here we have from JSON which is coming from our tmdb API. So we will be using the tmdb API to fetch the details for any movie, so that we can later on get our torrent file from the name of that movie. Perfect. Then we have our endpoints, and using the tmdb API I am fetching the popular, getting the results, and then I'm changing those result list into a movie model list, and I'm doing this for all of these. So basically I'm getting popular, I'm getting the top rated, and I'm getting the search query as well. So basically after that we have our details. So once we click on any movie, we'll be fetching the details, and details inside we are using the movie title to fetch the torrent link of that movie. So basically it will return the torrent file. We can pass the quality, the movie type, and the query we are passing here. So once our search is done, we'll return the first movie link and the tmdb id that was passed. After that we can download the movie as well. So if the movie is already downloaded, then we'll return the download contents folder and the download torrent file, and we will then reinitialize our torrent and our folder, and we will execute the long running task, that is basically downloading the torrent file. So this executor will help us to execute this process, this downloading the torrent, in a different thread, so that our application will not hang and we can simply move on to our next part. That is, we are checking while true if the status is greater than or equals to 1. 1 here means that 100%. So here if the progress is 100%, then only we will break and we'll return true. So we have to wait till the entire movie is downloaded. Once it is downloaded, we can use the stream endpoint to basically stream the movie. So we are returning a type of file response and we'll be returning the video path. This video path is the file that is ended with a MP4 or any other movie extension. Right, so this is the entire backend that we have. I am running it on the Colab, as you can see. Let me go in the R Colab, and you can see that this is the Colab, and I will mention all of the source code, backend, Flutter, and this Google Colab as well in the description box. So make sure to check that out as well. Perfect. So here we are cloning the project, we are changing directory, installing the required packages, writing the env. So this environment variables you need to write here. And after that, we have to initialize our main.py, right? So we will initialize our main.py and we will be having our ngrok API. So we can copy that API, head back to our Android Studio, go to our constants, and here inside constants, we can change our base URL. Alright, now changing the base URL causes an issue because if you search for ngrok, you can see that the code generated by the retrofit package has the API of this as well, ngrok free. But the API endpoint is not updated here. So we need to update that by running flutter pub run build runner, and we'll build that so that our API endpoint will be updated. Now if I search, you can see that all of our API endpoints are same. So we can run the application and test if everything works or not. So that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, please like this video and subscribe my channel for more videos like this in future, and it will really help my channel as well. With that all being said, if you have any doubts, comment them below and I'll be happy to read them and I'll definitely help you out as well. And with that all being said, I'm Yashmakan signing off. Peace out.